All of our Pi 4 systems are overclocked to get the best possible speed out of the system for RISC-OS use. All systems come with the option of 2, 4, or 8 GB of RAM and utilize the Pi's built-in fast gigabit Ethernet port for internet access and file sharing. We also equip our systems with EDOS firmware so that should you wish to be able to dual boot into Linux, this should be an easy upgrade. All of our systems come with a standard 2 GB of free software with optional bundles for productivity and games. We can even install software from other retailers prior to dispatching the system to you. We even offer remote support, where we can connect to your RISCOSbits system to diagnose and repair faults without returning your system to us. As long as you're connected to the internet, we can log into your machine. No messing with firewalls and router settings is required. Pi Harder is RISCOSbits' latest flagship system. Having retired our previous systems due to a lack of sheet material availability, we returned to a project we originally began developing back in 2020. The attractive and almost conventional-looking aluminum case allows very access to the microSD card slot and equips the machine with 2 front USB ports for use with pen drives, memory sticks, and card readers. With an illuminated on-off button, it's easy to control the power to the case, and special software allows for full shutdown of the system. Pi Harder allows full access to the standard user ports on the Raspberry Pi, as well as converting the micro HDMI ports to full HDMI. Obviously, only one of those ports is still available to use under RISC-OS, but at least you won't have to buy a new cable. It also has a standard 3.5mm audio jack that is enabled through firmware. A simple change can be made to ensure audio comes through the jack, rather than over the standard HDMI. An internal SATA connector allows for connection of either a 2.5-inch SSD or an M2 drive connected by USB to the main system, giving fast disk access and a wide choice of storage devices. It also hosts active cooling, in the form of the popular Ice Tower cooler coupled with a controllable fan. Utilizing custom software, the Pi Harder can control both the speed and temperature at which the kick. The PiRO Noir is RISCOSbits' new entry-level system based on USB or simple SD storage. Its sleek matte black molded plastic case has ample ventilation to keep the system cool and includes a powered fan. Just like the Pi Harder, PiRO Noir has 2 front USB ports for USB drives and card readers, and easy access to the microSD card for quickly changing OS to either Linux or another variant of RISCOS. An illuminated button offers full power control of the system. The PiRO Noir case enables easy access to the standard user ports on the Pi4. An internal adapter converts the Pi4's micro HDMI ports to full-sized ones on the case itself. And a dedicated audio jack allows sound to be played through external headphones and speakers instead of over the HDMI cable. The GPIO port on the Pi is brought out to the side of the case, and a sleek rubber cover protects the pins from damage and dirt. The internal active fan has temperature control on-off abilities, enabled by the custom software included. The FOURtress is a compact case of only around 10 centimeters squared. Made from aluminium with precision pillars that reach down from the case to connect with the hottest parts of the board, this adds a cooling effect to the case overall. Indeed, if the case was flat on top, it would make an ideal cup warmer. GPIO ports are hidden under a sleek magnetic cover and are easily accessible on the top of the case. LED indicators indicate both power and disk activity. On the rear of the case, an on-off button allows full power control of the system via custom software. The Pi's standard ports are fully accessible on the rear of the case to make for easy connection of peripherals and networks. A special internal adapter converts the Pi's micro HDMI ports to standard full-sized ones. It also breaks out a 3.5mm audio jack, which can be enabled through a simple firmware adjustment. Inside the FOURtress is a discrete M2 drive of up to a standard 256GB, which can be used in either FileCore or FAT32 format. If enabled with EDOS, then it can be partitioned for Linux use too, also allowing for larger drives. Software controllable fan inside the case adds to the overall cooling effect, allowing for safe overclocking of the system. Indeed, the system comes overclocked to 2.1 GHz as standard. The PiRO system is based on a custom layered case designed by RISCOSbits and can be made from a huge range of colors and materials, including acrylics and wooden veneers. By using frosted, translucent side panels, internal illuminations can show through the case for a variable glow effect. Space inside the case for add-ons such as hats and real-time clocks, and it is simple to break out the GPIO pins to the outside of the case. The system ideally lends itself to becoming a subtle media center or a bright, playful desktop computer, depending on your color choices. All of the standard ports from the Pi are easily accessible on the PiRO, and we've used a custom adapter board to convert the HDMI ports to full-sized ones. We've even broken out the audio to a 3.5mm port for use with headphones and external speakers. An internal connector inside the case allows for easy connection of permanent storage, such as memory sticks or even compact SSD drives. A high-powered, illuminated 40mm fan offers ample cooling to the system, with the layered design of the case allowing for venting. Given the current scarcity of Pi boards, we have resurrected an old scheme to allow you to build your existing Pi into one of our systems. Called FOURtify, we can install your Pi into any of our cases and build you a custom system, including your choice of storage device and capacity. We can also pre-install any bundle that you prefer and can install other vendors' applications prior to dispatch. By using our FOURtify service, generous savings are applied to the standard prices for our Pi systems, making it a bargain if you supply the Pi. In addition to our standard Pi 4 systems, we offer a range of other computers and devices to help you make the most out of RISCOS. The EDOS 400 kit combines a Pi 400 keyboard computer with our EDOS dual boot Linux system, and comes as a complete kit with everything you need to get going. The SOUR mini computer adds 2 full-sized USB ports and an Ethernet port to any flavor of Pi Zero for a compact and capable RISC-OS system that slips in your pocket. We have limited stock of fully working Pi top laptops, kit out with Pi 3B Plus boards. We even have limited edition clear versions, only 100 ever made. In addition to a few second-user Pinebooks at bargain prices, we have Pi 4 capable laptops to create the fastest ever portable RISC-OS machine. See our website for details. Wireless networking is one of the areas where RISC-OS currently struggles to compete. So RISCOSbits has taken a couple of off-the-shelf devices to convert the Ethernet port for use with wireless networks. What's more, Wispy works with any RISC-OS machine with a working Ethernet port. Compact model, at 44mm squared, whilst Wispy X is 94mm by 44mm. Neither of them are huge, it is fair to say. RISCOSbits has worked hard to convert the manuals for the devices into both English and RISC-OS friendly versions to make setting up the devices under RISC-OS much easier than it would have been. Instructions are even provided to enable configuration by popular smartphones. The Wispy V is our standard, budget model, whilst for those who need extra speed, the Wispy X offers what feels like twice the speed of its little brother. Twice the size, but twice as fast? Make the most of your Pi and overcome some of the shortfalls of RISC-OS with a different operating system on the same machine. EDOS is our software-based dual boot system to enable RISC-OS and Linux on the same system. By using a dedicated Linux application on RISC-OS, the computer will reboot into a full Linux session for the duration of your use. As standard, once you shut down or reboot from Linux, the machine will automatically return to the RISC-OS desktop. There is also a sticky Linux version that will continue to operate in Linux until the user explicitly requests RISC-OS again. We utilize the USB 3 capabilities of Linux and the Pi4 so that EDOS can access any SSD drive full speed, making Linux feel incredibly fast. By hand-tuning and specially partitioning the drives supplied with RISC-OS, we can create custom Linux installations with a shared partition that is accessible from both RISC-OS and Linux. Sharing files between two operating systems has never been easier. RISCOSbits are more than happy to show off our butts. It stands for Built Under the Top and are our case add-ons that complement our existing systems. For the FOURtress, USB butts adds 3 front USB ports for easy access. The addition of a Wispy V to USB butts creates our big butt, adding an Ethernet bridge to give access to wireless networks. Our head butt, for the PiRO Noir, comes complete with a USB to SATA adapter and adds an external drive to the system. The head butt is exactly the same footprint as the PiRO Noir, so looks like part of the system. We can supply a version for you to add your own 2.5-inch SSD, or we can supply an Ultra version with SSD included and pre-formatted. We can even include EDOS. We're currently working on a Pi-Ano stool to complement our Pi-Ano systems, which will add an internal SSD and front USB ports. Keep an eye out for more butts in future. The PiPOD gives those users with older hardware an easy way to integrate a modern Pi into their existing setup. Put simply, the PiPOD is a Pi on a podule. PiPOD brackets are exclusively made for RISCOS and can only be purchased directly from us. We have different versions for all models of Pi. There are 3 variants of the PiPOD. Basic gets you a simple bracket that mounts your Pi into the podule slot. Adapt adds all the necessary adapters you need, plus access to downloadable software. Finally, Ultra gets you the full kit and caboodle, including a Pi and a working SD card with all the software you need. The PiPOD allows you to run RISC-OS 5 alongside older versions in a window. It also allows your RISC PC access to USB keyboards and drives, and automatically creates a shared drive on the 2 systems for file sharing and disk access. PiPOD brings new life to an aging Acorn and allows the user to dabble in the 32-bit world without losing 26-bit compatibility. RISCOSbits has spent many years making custom cases for a range of RISC-OS machines, and indeed still sell quite a few designs. Our Delta Compact is a small D-shaped layered glass effect case for the Pi, with custom power and HDMI adapters for different versions of the Pi. The Burp is a box-shaped aluminum case with custom I/O plates, available in 3 sizes, depending on the board you wish to fit. Thorin is our pocket money case, made from oak veneer, which sandwiches your Pi to keep all the vulnerable components safe and protected. Definitely cheap and very cheerful. The Slim Jim, named after Jim Nagel, is a low-profile acrylic case for the Raspberry Pi and the IGEP version 5. It is ideal for use as a media center case. None of those appeal? We can make a custom case to suit your needs, using the materials you'd prefer to see, to host the board of your choice. What would look great on your We are working with some Acorn users to develop a mini ITX board for use with the Compute Module 4. A couple of prototypes have been developed so far, but a little bit more work is required, not helped by the component shortage. We hope to equip the board, which will conform to the standard ITX form factor and specification, with multiple native SATA ports for disk connectivity. The board will be able to fit in any standard ITX or ATX case, and will utilize the usual front panel electronics on most cases. Given the size of the RISC-OS market, the board will be available for both RISC-OS use and in a pure Linux variant. However, for RISC-OS users, a version of EDOS will also be available. Keep your eyes out for more news. The Pi Harder Lite is a slightly cut-down version of our flagship Pi Harder. The only differences are that it comes with 2 GB of RAM instead of 4 GB, and there is no SSD fitted. We equipped the Pi Harder Lite with a 64GB SD card with over 2GB of free software. The standard SATA connector for an SSD or M2 drive is fitted internally, so it's a simple process with an Allen key to add your own drive and make it up to a nearly full-spec Pi Harder. We'll even add in our new simple EDOS and a power supply for free. All this comes at the bargain price of £159, but we have a limited number of these available, so if you're interested, do hurry and go to www.pihard.co.uk/lite.htm.